Good day everyone, so we're going to discuss all about ocean acidification. What is ocean acidification? It is caused by carbon dioxide emission. It threatens the health of our ocean and the animals in it. So let's start by looking at the formation of shells and animals. The shells of animals like crabs are formed primarily of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is formed when calcium ions bind with the carbonate molecules. Ocean acidification begins with CO2 emissions. Most CO2 is produced when fossil fuels are burned for industrial and automotive purposes once in the air. CO2 is absorbed into the ocean through wave action. When absorbed into the ocean, CO2 combines with water to form carbonic acid. Carbonic acid breaks down easily into the bicarbonate molecules and hydrogen ions. Calcium and bicarbonate cannot bind together to form shells, finds more easily with the hydrogen ions. So this makes them unable to form shells.
These are the common causes of ocean acidification. Number 1. Raised carbon dioxide concentration in the ocean. When the level of carbon dioxide gas gets higher in the ocean, it obviously affects the whole water. When sea organisms die on the seabeds, the remains pile up and form corals, which is consisting of carbons. Also, these organisms release calcium into the water. These compounds have a far-reaching detrimental impact on the composition of the water as they add acidity. Number 2. Raised carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere. Sometimes, the harm induced in the atmosphere can spread into the waters. This is when carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere through various human activities. This in turn contaminates the water because the carbon gases get to be dissolved in the sea waters, and this lowers the pH of the water, contributing to acidification. Number 3. Higher concentration of hydrogen ions in the water. At the seabeds, there are some chemical reactions that may take place, and they can have negative impacts on the quality of the ocean water. Such reactions may include the increase in hydrogen ions, which when combined with other compounds such as nitrogen, water, among other gases, and the reactions lead to ocean water acidity. Number 4. Burning fossil fuels. This may not be directly linked to contamination of the water, but it plays a crucial role in the changing of the environment. Fuels such as petroleum, diesel, and coal produce lots of carbon dioxide when burned. This increases the concentration of carbon gas in the atmosphere, which in turn finds a way into the water. Carbon and other atmospheric gases find entry into the sea through acidic rainfalls or even direct dissolving into the water. Number 5. Waste disposal. Disposal of waste has been a challenge to many countries. As for those that border seawater masses, they have been too quick on using the oceans as the possible dumping grounds of domestic and industrial waste. Number 6. Improper land management. Agriculture may also contribute to the problem of ocean acidity. It may happen especially when the methods that are employed by the farmers are not suitable. These are methods that may be prone to soil erosion, and in the process the chemicals are washed downstream into the ocean. Number 7. Industrialization. Countries or cities that have embraced industrialization pose dangerous implications for the environment. Their existence can only mean that there is increased carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere, which when absorbed into the water, the level of acidity increases.
This is the effects of ocean acidification. Number 1. Increase in the carbon dioxide concentration in the ocean. Dito, yung ocean acidification, hindi lang yung pH level yung naapektuhan niya. It also changes the gaseous concentration in the ocean. It increases the concentration of the carbon dioxide. Pwede itong mag-lead sa suffocation and even death ng mga marine creatures. Number 2, loss of aquatic life. Pag bumaba or tumaas yung pH level ng water, possible na maapektuhan to sa mga organism in the ocean such as fish and yung mga mammals like whales, sharks, etc. Pag mataas kasi yung acid, parang hindi na pwedeng matirahan ng mga organism and pwede silang mamatay. Number 3, food shortage. So, dahil nga pag mataas yung acid sa ocean, mamamatay yung mga living organism doon. Magkakos yun ng shortage in foods. Kasi 'di ba yung mga isda doon kinukuha. Pag namatay yung mga isda, baka hindi pa pwede makain kasi baka toxic na. Number 4, food web interference. Pwedeng maging cause ng pagkawala or pagkamatay ng mga halaman or ng mga animals na nasa ocean. Pag may ocean acidification, pag naging extinct daw yung mga organism, yung mga nakadepende doon such as people and others animals will also be affected or threatened. Number 5, impact on human health. Yung mga tao is nakadepende sa ocean. Like yung iniinom natin, pag tumaas yung acidity, maapektuhan yung taong pwede makainom nun. Possible na makakuha ng sakit. Example na nun is yung cancer. Number 6, impact on the reefs. As more carbon dioxide is absorbed into the oceans, it bonds to form carbonic acid. The acid then produces hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion, and the hydrogen ion bonds with free carbonate ions in the oceans to form other bicarbonate products. The problem with this reaction is that marine organisms possessing shells need to carbonate ions to make calcium carbonate shells and skeletons. Thus, the more dissolved carbon dioxide in the ocean, the less free carbonate ions accessible for forming calcium carbonate shells or skeletons. Number 7, impact on the open ocean planktonic ecosystem. It must be remembered that the planktonic ecosystems in the oceans are open. That is, they are not definite. It varies from place to place and also from oceans to ocean. In fact, is the phytoplankton that forms the basis of marine ecosystem. 8. Coastal ecosystems are affected. Not just the marine ecosystems, the coastal ecosystem are affected too by the acidification of the oceans. The coastal ecosystem contains a variety of plants that forms a unique habitat with the acidification of the ocean. Lastly, number 9, high latitude oceans are at a risk. The oceans located in the higher latitudes are the ones that are highly productive. The Southern and the Arctic Ocean are productive of all the oceans, teeming with life. These are some of the most exploited oceans as well. Already this hampers the ecosystems of these oceans. Adding on is the problem of acidification.
So these are the solutions in ocean acidification. Number 1, strict and relevant regulations. So human actions are best guarded by the policies of the land. The first step towards the fight against ocean acidification can be commenced through the ratification of legislation that can ensure that the waste handling, among other pollution risk activities, is controlled. Such regulations would spread to the Fisheries Department to ensure that safety is maintained in food consumption. Number 2 is civil education. Governments and international organizations can come up with some platforms where they educate or sensitize the common citizens on the risks posed by climate change and ocean acidification. Such initiatives can instill some self-triggered discipline that acts as guidance for the quest for environmental conservation. Number 3 is consuming only the right fish. In any case, an increase in acidity would make fish consumption a risky affair. This is why the authorities would be tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that only the less harmless fish find their way into the market. So this can be very helpful in reducing the chances of having food poisoning and carbon gas circulation in the environment. Number 4 is reducing the consumption of carbon-oriented energy sources. Adopting the use of alternative or renewable energy sources can be the best available option. Diversification of energy sources, such as the use of solar and wind, as the alternative energy sources can significantly pay off. Number 5 is use of alternative water sources. So because of the need to ensure that there is safety, skepticism may pay off. Such can be through the use of alternative water sources, such as the use of boreholes, wells, or tap rainwater instead of ocean water domestically. So this can help in minimizing possible ocean water pollution. Number 6 is eating less meat. Raising livestock is a major source of greenhouse gases. These greenhouse gases that can cause all the problems. By reducing our meat consumption, we would reduce the demand for meat. This would result in lesser rearing and raising of livestock. As a result of the same, we would be effectively reducing the amount of greenhouse gases being released in the atmosphere. Number 7, conserve water. It takes lot of energy to pump, treat, and heat water, so saving water reduces greenhouse gas emissions. Watch what you pour down the drain and use eco-friendly products that break down. Remember often what goes down the drain end up with rivers and lakes, which all filter in our oceans. Number 8, reduce your plastic addiction. Don't use bottled water. Refuse straws when you eat out. Bring your own reusable containers around with you. Drink from the top, filter it, and use water canteens to refill, and don't use single-use plastic bags. Lastly, number 9, reduce, reuse, recycle, and refuse. This helps conserve energy and reduces pollution and greenhouse gas emission from resource extraction, manufacturing, and disposal.